They're gonna know. All right, we're back, Bo. The keys are in your hands. Go for it.
All right. So, everyone goes back to their respective places for resting, except for Al. You're in the garage. Not a great place to rest, but it seems practical just to stay there. You don't like the sand in there; it's oily and it's dirty. Um, this is you slumming it big time. Everyone takes their rest. The sun rises. People wake. That you guys sleep well, but can't sleep in today. There's a lot going on. You know, the meeting's very soon at sun up, so basically it's time to go there. I assume everyone's going to this meeting.
Yeah,
Okay,
we should all
so
go, right?
Except for Bok Bok.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bok Bok is not going. Okay,
No,
so
I expect the town to rip him apart. So
of all the people,
Oh.
he's continued to sleep. Yeah, the chew worms were quite filling. And he's still got some left, and you know he's probably fine. He's got water and lettuce and chew worms. So as you make your way, you see that there's a surprising number of people that populate Dust Hill who've come to this gathering circle. There's a fire in the middle. There's the stage of the First Hill Masters tent. It has a stage before it where presumably you guys will be standing. But people have circled all around. There's roughly a little over 100 people that you can see that slowly begin making their way. They're all talking in hushed tones with one another, trying to find out what's going on, looking around expectantly. So people make their way in. You're now all there, and you've gathered in your area near the tent. You recognize some people you recognize in the crowd, as you do see Jen is there. You also see Jimster, who's kind of standing nearby you guys, but not on there. Hey girl, how's it going? Shanti and his wife, Shanti, whose last name is Stout Barrel, has joined, as well as his wife Rita. You don't see any sign of Wilma. That's Aaron's wife. Also joining, you see Boxto, Lala, Tixley, Rinto Lyle, the halfling family, with Brucebane, the son of Talia, who've shown up. Many farmers, about 70 of all kinds of different races, are there. You see the craftsmen who work, do some blacksmithing, a clay worker, the butcher and cooks from the feeding shanty are there. Also, some differently dressed, like lightly dressed, but with canvas cloaks and hoods. There's 3 of those type, and one of them is an elf, and you surmise that you recognize these as scoutmasters.
Oh, I was like cultists from Diablo. All right, keep going.
Yeah. And you also, one in particular, there are several people who've come armed with spears off to the side that you recognize as probably. So the Dust Hill has Hillguard, but they have other volunteers who form part of the service to watch the ramparts that aren't necessarily the Hillguard. And so they form this group of people. Presumably they were also there to help. One of them in particular, an imposing figure that you may have seen around town before, might not have, but certainly taking in for the first time, is a half-orc who stands a lot taller in green, but has like distinctly human-looking features amongst this group.
Okay.
And they're all there, and everyone's talking and waiting expectantly. As things are waiting, Shanti approaches the dial and the stage, and he's got a stick in his hand, and he taps. He taps on the thing. And he's like, "If I could have everyone's attention, please. The meeting's about to begin, and I just wanted to say a few words to all of you. Firstly, it's going to be a hard week, and it's going to be a hard season, but we're going to pull through. The new Hilgard are here, and you should trust them. This man right here, Stanley Billings, is going to have a few words to say about the future of Dust Hill. Okay, Stanley, please."
Somehow I don't think that would be the reaction, but I appreciate it, Scott. Thank you.
Everyone's just quiet and somber, waiting expectantly.
All right. I step up, and I wrote a speech but as I was bleeding to death last night, I did not actually write a speech. So I'm closing it, and we're gonna see how this goes.
All right.
People of Dust Hill, my name is Stanley Billings. There are a few of you who no doubt know me, but many of you do not. And regardless, I have a feeling that many of you are wondering why I'm the one standing up here today. I am up here as a hill guard, surrounded by my friends and allies and fellow hill guard, Vorel, Nash, and Hope. We have returned from beneath the town, where we were able to stop a plot to prevent water from running in Dust Hill, where we were able to restore water flowing to the town, and Vorel himself, upon returning to the surface, was able to chase off the goblin threat that occurred while we were below. Now, no doubt this news comes as a bit of a surprise, as our Hillmaster had instructed everybody to start digging to repair the well. Another bit of unfortunate news I have for you today is that the Hillmaster has lied to you. The machinery...
There's lots of murmuring going on right now, presenting them with a lot of new and strange information.
The machinery that runs the well in Dust Hill exists in a cavern beneath the town. And it was beneath the town where we went and managed to fix it. Hope, who is an expert mechanic, was able to make the repairs, and with luck, the well will continue to run for a good long time. This is, however, unfortunately, the only good news I have to share with the town. As you all know, we suffered a goblin attack. Some of our people were taken. Many were killed. And as much as I would like to sit here and figure out the future of our town, the reality is, unless we make our town whole again, there is no future for us. And so, what I have proposed is that we are going to install a militia temporarily while the four of us go and try to recover those who were taken. While we are gone, and this will be news to him, Shanti is going to be overseeing the town.
Shanti looks around and he's got a somber look on his face. He just stands there stoically.
In an attempt to turn off the water, the assistant to the Hillmaster Softhead was successful in sabotaging the pump, killing the previous hill guard, and in the altercation the Hillmaster himself was killed. I am sure most of this is not a surprise, as I am familiar with the concept of gossip. But we will do our best to make this town whole again. We have something unique and special here in Dust Hill. Many of you have grown up here your entire lives. You don't know what it's like to not know where you're going to get water or food the next day. You don't know what it's like to have somebody not there to watch out for you when things go bad. That is something special and unique to this town, and we must protect and preserve it. I understand that many of you look at us with skepticism and mistrust, and I don't fault any of you for it. I wouldn't blame you, and I would feel the same were I in your position. But let us do our best to restore the town, and then we can figure out who's to blame. And then we can figure out where to go from there. We need to stop fighting amongst each other. And I lean back and indicate that I have not cleaned the blood off of my outfit. I am still soaked in it. Now is not the time to be fighting each other. It is us versus the rest of the world right now. And we need to band together and make it so.
You hear a voice yell out from the crowd, "What do you mean, a hole in the ground?" What is this?
That guy again.
The machinery that pulls the water up to the well exists beneath the town. There was a passageway that the Hillmaster knew about that the rest of the town did not.
Just murmuring. And what happened to the old hill guard? Where are they? You hear someone else yell from the crowd.
They were lost in the caverns below during the fight.
Okay, so there's a silence that sort of descends as people take in the information that you're telling them. And Shanti steps in and says, okay, so everybody here, we're going to need you to pull together like Stanley says. I will take up the mantle of, am I the hill master? I'm not sure. I'll be the town master. How about that?
That sounds
I like
good.
the sound of that. I am the town master. Now, we've taken an account of everyone who's dead. There are 45 dead from the goblin raid. And he sort of motions with his arm. There's a pile of corpses to the side of this gathering. And we'll have to arrange for some funeral rites this evening. We'll probably be burning all the bodies as we do. But so if you want to come and pay your respects, do so tonight. Also, there are about 25 missing people. If you have a loved one who isn't here and I don't know about it, come and tell us about it. Stanley, is there anything more anyone needs to know? We should just get to work, I think.
Oh, Stanley. James just said he'd lead the militia.
In the time being, we are assigning militia control over to Jimster. If you feel that you could be an able-bodied defender of the town while we're gone, I would ask that you see him. He will be able to outfit you with weaponry and possibly some training in case something occurs while we're gone. The time...
You're interrupted by the half-orc actually steps forward into the circle, puffing out his chest, looking strong, and says, I object.
Whoa.
I am Tetsuo, and I lead the Watchers of the Wall. Shit, not the Watchers of the Wall. I lead the Watchers. For what reason am I being relieved of this duty?
Tetsuo, you said your name was?
You heard me.
Well, first of all, that's a fine name. Second of all, you are not being relieved of duty, but if anything, the goblin attack and the amount of people dead is a clear indicator that we do not have enough people focused on defense. An additional militia is needed.
You question my honor? I will round up the people needed to watch the walls and take care of it. He is nothing but a mechanic and not qualified for this. I will do it.
When we got out, he was protecting people and you were nowhere to be seen.
Oh.
He pulls out a sword from the back of his thing. I was in the barricade too, defending. From what ignorance do you speak from? And then the watchers that are near him sort of motion and they get a little tense.
I'll look at Jimster's. Jimster, I'll kind of give him like a...
Jimster steps in, he's like, all right. No need to start killing one another right now. Holy shit. Just calm your pants. Look, Tetsuo, Stanley might not have met Tetsuo. He's a good guy, all right? The goblins, we haven't been attacked in, I don't know, hundreds of years. And, hey, do we need to step up defenses? Sure. Am I going to help? Yes, but... maybe I forgot to think about you, Tetsuo. You don't say too much, and I mean, sometimes for a big green guy, we don't even know you're there. So you can be the leader, and I'll just help out. All right, Stanley, we got this under control. Your honor's intact. Tetsuo looks at Jimster and looks at you and puts his sword back away. He says, I am satisfied with this.
Good. Is there anybody else that wants to come forward and raise concerns?
So Boxto steps forward. Hello, I'm Boxto. I run the trading post. Boxto Rinto Loyal. Just wanted to know what the policy is going forward on new recruits and inviting people to the town. We need to trade with outside people. Are they still welcome to come in here?
For the time being, I think we should adhere to the policies that we've had in the past. For the next couple of days, we will go ahead and keep it business as usual until we can figure out something more specific.
Very good, very good. By the way, everyone, we have a special on hose and rakes. Buy one and get one free. Come see me at the trading post. Thank you.
Thank you, Boxto.
Okay. And so one of the scoutmasters, there's 4 of them, and the tallest amongst them is Elf, who steps forward and says, I am Zoranthalas, and I have a question.
All right, Zoranthalas, what can I do for you?
I recommend that we cease recruitment activities and volunteer our scoutmasters to assist in the raid on the Goblin Party. At the very least, let us procure information for you.
I think that would be very useful, and we would be honored to have you.
Very well. We will begin preparations and meet you in Jimster's garage. And he looks to Jimster and nods at Jimster, and the scoutmasters retreat. They remove themselves from the circle.
All right.
As this happens, Shunti says, all right, everyone, I think that's going to bring this meeting to a close. I don't know if there's anything else anyone has to say. Stanley, you got any last items for everyone?
No, I think for the time being, we need to stay strong. As I said, we are going to do our best to bring everyone home that we can.
We're going to do our best.
At that time...
And as you hear this happening, a crowd parts directly across from you, and you see Wilma
Oh my gosh.
stumble to the thing, and she's got some kind of liquor in her hand. This meeting is a joke, and I accuse you of murdering my husband, Aaron. And I demand a trial, and I demand satisfaction.
He's still running through the desert somewhere.
Oh, Aaron's the one that died. The Skinny Pete looking guy is the guy that's still running.
Oh,
Yeah.
He just never stopped.
I demand satisfaction. They're liars, and they're here to kill us all.
I don't think we're liars, Wilma. If I recall correctly, you're the one who blamed the dwarf for the water to stop. That the water stopped running, and it wasn't his fault. So who's the one who jumps to conclusion here? Are you going to blame the farmers if the food stops growing?
We are the farmers. Without us, you have nothing, and you murder us and treat us like cattle. And then, and then, as she's saying this, the couple Nash that you interacted with yesterday, the brother and sister,
Yeah.
they stepped forward and they said, "The ugly one threatened us yesterday. They threatened us."
He's talking
We agree,
about
and
me.
the farmers sort of, seem to be reacting positively to Wilma's. There's a sense that Wilma might be a respected voice amongst the farming cast of the group, and you have a sense, Stanley, that you may be losing control of the situation.
All right. I'm going to cast Friendship on Wilma. Or Charm Person on Wilma.
And what are the requirements for that?
I am going to try to do it sneakily.
Is it verbal? Is it only verbal, or are there
It's
some?
verbal and a gesture associated with it.
So, just so you're aware, they're going to see you cast a spell on this person.
All right.
I'm gonna start walking.
Maybe I
towards
don't
Wilma.
cast. Maybe I don't cast the spell on Wilma. All right. Wilma, you have been a thorn in this town side since I first met you. And your husband has been a literal knife in my side since last night. You're right. I killed him.
The town. There's just a silent gasp from the town.
I killed him in self-defense when he and his awkward-looking friend tried to jump me in the alley trying to make sure that our well water was still working. As I was trying to assist this town, you were letting petty squabbles and issues try to ruin it, and you're continuing to try to do so. So by all means, step forward with your accusations, and as captain of the Hill Guard, I will have you placed under arrest.
Okay, everyone sort of looks around, not knowing what to do. She says, "I've had enough," and she reaches into her one of her dress pockets that she has, and she pulls out a revolver.
I'm gonna start running at her and try and tackle her.
As she pulls this out, Nash, a pain begins to develop in the pit of your stomach.
Oh.
And you feel adrenaline rush through your body, and as this interaction is happening, and there's this tightness in your chest. And you feel your breath becoming short. And the pain then spreads to your head, and you can taste blood and iron, and you can't hold it in anymore. The pain is becoming excruciating. You're now you nearly want to double over in pain. Okay?
All right.
So Wilma's holding the gun to you, Stanley, and says, "I've had enough of this. I'm gonna be the leader of this town, and I'm gonna see that justice is done."
I'm running to tackle her.
You're running to tackle her? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So she sees that you're coming, and she shoots the gun.
Oh my.
At me or at Hope?
At you. What's your AC, please?
My AC is
13, right?
14.
Actually,
Or no, 15.
Okay. Boom!
Did
The
this
gun-
President him?
Say it again.
What's that? Yeah.
Can I, Mr. President Stanley?
You can. Yes, you can. Wish you would have thought of it sooner, because now you can still do it, though. Do you want to tackle him anyways?
It sounds like the bullet was gonna miss. I don't know if you needed to Mr.
Well,
President me.
It's a revolver. There's more than one bullet in it.
Oh.
Hmm.
Yeah, but I get to react once she shoots, right?
Yeah, no, you're right. I am too late, and Hope was already going for it, so... human
Okay,
bit.
so Hope, this is a tackle, so a grapple on her.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and grab her gun hand with my two hands and then fall on
Strength
top of
contest?
her.
Strength contest.
Ooh, strength contest. Yes. 20, not natural.
Okay. Perfect. So you grapple her and you move her gun into the air. Bang, 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 bang. A bunch of other shots fire up into the air.
Can I do a headbutt into her face?
She's going to make an attempt to get a gauge from you. So roll a strength check, please.
5.
Okay. So after a few shots go off in the air, she pulls herself away from you, and the gun is now point blank at you. And you do take a bullet in your vest. So for 6, that's 10 damage. Doesn't
Alright.
penetrate you, hits your bulletproof west. You can feel the bruising. Oh, where you got hit yesterday. Or no, you didn't get hit yesterday, actually. So you just feel this coolness spread over your chest, and then you can feel inflammation happening. Meanwhile, Nash, the pain has becoming so excruciating that you start screaming. So as this altercation's happening, Nash just starts going, "Ah!" in the middle of the thing, and his body's shaking. He's gazebo style, and all of a sudden you light on fire.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Wow.
What the heck?
Ah!
Yeah.
That's better.
You take
Oh.
You take 20 points of damage.
Oh, what? Where did this? Do I have any idea where it came from? I don't yet.
You set so just in the middle of this altercation, you set on fire. And you're screaming, ah! And your mind leaves.
Okay.
And then poof, he goes out, and he smells of smoke and burning flesh, and drops to the ground.
All right. Well, I only have 18 hit points, so
yeah.
I'm
Did
dropped to
I
0.
Yeah, I'm
see anything about what might have caused that?
I'd like everyone to leave the call, please.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Except for Scott.
Just-
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you don't have to be gone long, but take out your headset, mute your microphones. Scott,
Yeah.
just you and me now.
Oh my gosh. I'm terrified. It was a good time for a
So,
bite of something.
As you're doubled over in pain and you feel the fire and flames burn around you, your vision recedes to black, and then all of a sudden it bursts into red shapes, pulsating all around you, and you see nothing but flesh and fire and burning, and you smell flesh and fire. And then a red silhouette appears itself before you, and it goes, Nash, I see you.
Wow. I don't know what to do here.
Turn to me. And then as this comes up, you see visions from the solar mines. You see that time where a little girl was beaten to death by 2 guards, and just her face is in there looking, pleading with you for you to save her. And then as the hilt of a gun hits her head, she loses consciousness and dies. And then you see lines of slaves being stabbed and beaten as they work, and you amongst them helpless to do anything. And then you see a torture chamber, and you see a body on a bed, but you can't make out its face. And you see little monsters nibbling at its corpse and rats running all around the room. And the silhouette appears and says, "Why do you run from destiny?"
How is this possible? I say without a mouth.
You know how. Join us. And then the vision bursts in flames, and you've lost consciousness. It's done. All right.
Wow. Okay. Did not see that coming.
All right, we're back.
You guys are back.
We're back. Yeah. So Nash is just spontaneously combusted and then dropped to the ground.
Yeah.
And everyone's staring in shock. And Wilma's like, "See, they're demons! They've come to kill us!"
Going to punch her.
Okay.
I'm gonna run over and cast Cure Wounds on Nash.
Okay. So first, your punch.
As Stanley runs by me, is this normal? Should I do something?
Natural 20.
Okay. Roll your unarmed damage dice. 2 of them, since it's a natural 20.
Right.
Wow, big 20s today.
And that's just damage to 1 plus strength. Oh, okay, so 4 damage.
Okay. So you punch her. You see your fist fly through the air, connects to her face. Boom, and another tooth flies out of her mouth, and it glints in the sky. It's a clean tooth. And she holds onto her face.
Does she drop the gun?
In drunkenness, she drops the bottle.
Grab.
She's still got the gun. The gun fires off into the sand again. And she's there just sort of stunned a little bit from the punch. Now, so John wanted to cast Cure Wounds on his friend. So you do that.
That's 10 hit points regained.
Okay. Scott, your eyes open and you see nothing but white for now. You don't feel the pain or pressure, but your head hurts
Okay.
quite a bit. You have a nasty headache and you see the sky, and you're just coming to consciousness now.
Do I know what I have a memory of what I've seen?
You do.
Okay.
Nash, what happened?
I don't know. I thought I was having a stroke. I tasted purple and smelled toast. I don't know what was going on, but then I was taken to a place. I can't explain it here. There's too much going on. In fact, I can barely see. I'm blinded from this experience. Thanks for the heal, though. That was pretty cool.
All right, take a moment to recover. Somebody get Wilma under control.
All right,
got
Varel, do you want to do anything about this, or?
I'm just standing in the middle of the stage. He's down on his knees helping flaming Nash. She's beating the crap out of Wilma. And then I just look at Stanley. I said, I thought you said this would be nothing. This would be boring.
I'm gonna go back up on the stage. Vorel, can you get everybody's attention real quick, please?
I intimidate, roar into the crowd. With a 13.
Okay, so you roar, and then everyone, you go. Do you want to roar for us? Would you like to give us an example? Perfect. Okay, so you roar, and then everyone just stops, including Wilma, stock still and looks at you, except for Nash, who smells like burnt flesh and just can't see anything. He's like, and everyone pays attention to you, Varel.
This
is chaos. And I thought I was the beast. Stanley, please.
This is exactly what I was talking about. We need to stop fighting with each other. There are 25 of our people missing right now that are being held by goblins. And we're squabbling with each other. If you want to hold me accountable for what I did, then go ahead and do it. But do it after I get back from trying to rescue people. Until then, take care of each other. Somebody take Wilma somewhere where she can sleep it off.
Wilma's still sort of standing around, very drunk.
Gonna go and grab her gun.
Okay, grapple check with advantage.
Right, 19.
Okay, you are successful this time at detaining her physically and disarming the gun from her hand. You have her sort of one arm around her. Yeah, you've got the gun out. Yeah, you have anything that you can do with her? I don't know.
I'm just gonna keep holding her, and I'm gonna whisper, "I'd kill you right now if I could."
Oh man.
Oh. She looks at you and she says, "Do it."
Oh no!
I flick the gun down, and you know when you flick it down and you open it, are there any bullets in there?
There's one bullet remaining.
I'm gonna turn the chamber and pop it back into place and hold it to her head.
Oh, this is great.
She goes, "Do it!" And she yells out in this drunken rage yell.
Oh, is anybody doing anything to stop this?
All the farmers are looking scared, like they're just one more excuse from running away and clearing the field at this point.
Hope, don't do it.
They'll stand there a little longer. And then I'll put the gun down. And then I'll let her go and shove her back and go,
Okay,
I hope you live with this for the rest of your life, which you will, but I hope you live with this forever.
As you shove her, the farmers who are forming part of the circle around you sort of move out of her way. No one goes to assist her, and she just stumbles sadly back into the area where the mud huts are. And people watch her go. She doesn't say anything more. So Shanti says, "Well, on that note, I think we better get started on the important stuff. All right, so come see me for your assignment. I'll be in the tent."
All right. Before we go, I'm going to pull Shanti aside, and Hope, I'll need you as well. Shanti, I'm going to need to have a brief sit-down with you to explain some things before we go.
All right, well, now's as good as time as any. You got to get going.
All right.
Those goblins, they're putting sand between us and them.
Vorel, can you go check on Nash and make sure he's not going to just explode into fire again, or...
I'm fine. Listen, he can come over here. I'm fine, though. That's not it. I'll explain. Terrible things are afoot, and I don't know how to explain them yet, but the fire's over. You don't have to worry.
All right, let's all gather in the Hillmaster's hut for a brief get together.
We should head to the garage before a certain scouting group dissects our thing.
What are you talking about?
Jimster's within earshot and he goes, "What's going on in the garage?"
Oh, yes. Varel caught a well, I'll tell this quietly. Jimster, come here. Varel last night, he caught a goblin, and so we kind of kept him locked up in the garage. He's in that
What now?
mesh.
And you're just telling me about this now?
I'm sorry.
The goblin might have eaten me. Oh, you know better than that. Oh my God. All right, well, we better go talk there.
All right.
All right. Well, are you going to come protect me if we go to the garage?
Varel, could you protect him?
Of course, there's
I'll
nothing.
be right there. I gotta meet with Shanti.
He believes I'm a god, after all.
You found a
All
goblin.
right.
I can't. Yeah. Well, we all want goblins. Damn it.
I mean, I'm just thinking maybe we all go meet in the garage. That way, we don't gotta explain. You're gonna explain everything to Shanti. You're gonna explain things to me too, right? Like,
Well, as the goblin is also news to me, I'd also like to maybe head to the garage and we can all talk there.
Me too.
Shanti, can you come along with us?
all right, I'll come with. Let's go to the garage. Rita, just wait here for me.
All right.
Rita sort of takes it that she's like, also the leader, and starts talking to farmers to start coordinating the funeral, for example, or whatever it is she's doing. All right, so you go to the garage with Jimster and Shanti, and you see that outside of the garage, because it's closed, you see the 4 scoutmasters in their hoods waiting outside. And so Jimster opens up the garage, lifts it up. It's very dusty and oily in there, but everyone makes their way in. There's like these makeshift chairs and like milk crates that people can sit on, so everyone they choose to sits on a milk crate or a
I'll run over to the thing and I'll go, all right, now, before we do anything hasty here, we've got a goblin. Now, he doesn't harm anybody. He's not dangerous. Varel picked him up last night, and his name is Bok Bok.
Bok hears his name, and you hear just a... And Varel, you understand that to mean, I need to make poopy. This is God.
What do you say, Varel?
Jimster, your garage is about to smell. Unless we
No.
have
And I'll go to unlock it real fast, figuring out what's going on.
All right, and
Varel.
I'll attend and grab the same scruff and we'll head out. Bucket, perhaps?
You could maybe just find an alleyway somewhere. We don't have to go that far. Maybe just out of sight of everyone.
Very well.
He goes on the corpse of Aaron.
So I'll look out the door. I'll make a kind of casual stealth check of 11 and walk outside my
You take him through an alley, and you just very near the garage. It's not far, and you look around and you see there's people, but the alleyway there's no one in there. And so you take the goblin in there, and the goblin crouches down, takes shit on the ground really quickly. It's about 4 seconds. It's done. It's out. And then you look up and you fail to sort of take an account to one of the windows near the houses, and you see a woman in there cleaning dishes, or just watching this, and her eyes are open.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
And then the curtains just close.
We call it tornado.
Sorry. My soundboard's flipping out. My bad. I was trying to find a good poop sound, but I couldn't find one. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So
Prisoner.
Here you go.
Had to.
There. That's his goblin.
Just launches out of there.
By the way, did I get into this place? I'm under my own control. Am I there?
You're there, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you're able to get up and move around. You just, as some time goes by, your vision does come back to you. You just, when sometimes you just look into a bright light and can't see.
Yeah.
It's that kind of effect you had for.
And John, how many? I'm sorry. Can you remind me how many heal points you healed me for?
You should have 10 hit points.
10 total. Okay. Just making sure I'm good. All right.
All right. So everyone, now that pooping business is done, everyone meets in the room, and Jimster says, "All right, now, So what's the plan? This is the rescue meeting, right? Like, I mean, there's other stuff to talk about. You want to tell Shanti some stuff, and I want to hear it. So,
All right.
Stanley, what do you want to tell us?
Congratulations. This is officially the inner circle. We're going to discuss a couple of things that I would consider privileged information at this point.
All right.
Shanti, under no circumstances can anybody go down the cave that's in the Hillmaster's hut. This is of critical importance.
But what about me? I can go down there, right?
You can, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I'll hand Shanti the key
I
at
mean,
this point.
you know I'm a dwarf. Like, I can handle myself under the earth.
I do understand that, Shanti. The issue is that, and this is the secret that the Hillmaster has been keeping from the town, the well is powered by a dragon engine.
Ooh, a dragon engine. Jimster goes, what in the hell is a dragon engine?
Well, Shanti will tell you after the fact. For right now, what you need to know is that it is powerful, it is dangerous, and if people found out one was here, it would bring people from all over in an attempt to steal it. Now, we've been told, and I understand how crazy this is about to sound, by the spirit of the first Hillmaster, Peter, that any attempt to remove the dragon engine would result in instant death. He might have been lying, but when someone tells you touching something will kill you, you don't touch it.
So one of the scoutmasters, the elf, Zoranthalus, raises his hand up for your attention and says, what sort of markings were there on the dragon engine?
I didn't get a great look at it. Hope saw it better than me.
About how big was the dragon engine?
It was pretty small, about yay big.
This is astounding news. And you say that this, well, it powers the supply of water here.
It's phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it.
My people know about dragon engines. They are the remnants of the hearts of dragons, remolded into a shape of engines, and they serve the same purpose. But for such a wonderful item to be used to deliver water, it's well beneath what it is meant for.
Well, water is considered a pretty big necessity by most people, and a never-ending supply of it being pumped to a town, I would say, is fairly invaluable.
Can you tell us more about, what would a dragon engine be used for in the right situation?
I mean, they should be used for a purpose of great religious significance, to bring an end to this world, and to usher in a new world. And the legend of our people, which I'm surprised you don't know, Stanley, except you are a bit of a mongrel, I think. If I look at you correctly, I can't tell if you're human or elf, which means you're a bastard.
Take that.
I've been called
Which
worse.
Elves.
Which explains quite a bit. But as you know, elves are meant to return home. It is our journey, our life journey, to return home to the sky. And we bring with us great gifts. And the dragon engine would be a great gift. It would be the greatest of gifts.
Well, speaking of, while I have your attention, does the phrase Elhan or Elhandar mean anything to you?
He looks and he says, yes, it means the home of the elves. It's in the sky. It is where we return to.
And do you have the methods by which to return there?
No, our journey is to find a way to return to the sky. I'm here serving as a scoutmaster, but my life journey is to return home to the sky. with the rest of the elves.
Nash says, what's with this? This is religious bullshit. Why are we listening to this? This is horseshit. We know this doesn't exist. There's no place in the sky where the elves go.
I don't expect a little-minded fleshling like you to understand. But this is where the elves return. We return home. Our journey is to find a way home. When the elves are born, they're cast down into the sand with the rest of you. And our rite of passage is to return back home to the sky.
Stanley, why have you never said a word about this?
Well, as he said, I'm considered a bit of a bastard, and
You
I
probably did not return from the. You probably were not born of the sky.
This guy's a
Probably.
dick. This guy's a huge dick.
Probably one of my kind fell for one of these greasy humans and made you.
Watch it.
well,
My
for
heart
the
weeps
time
for
being, let me just tell you that you live among them, as do I. And you talk about this being a device that's supposed to usher in a whole grand and glorious future. Well, that's exactly what it's doing. Society is gone, but it's thriving and beginning to flourish here because of a well. That is the basis for how we grow and change. Now, that's pretty amazing to me, and if you can't grasp that, well, that's fine. But it doesn't change the basis of why it's here. Now, as for you, Nash, I get that he's spouting a lot of religious zealotry, but considering in the past couple of days you've ran into a ghost, giant spiders, and killed a demon, you also just mysteriously burst into flames, more on that later, I would say maybe keep your mind open to a couple new possibilities. It's been an interesting week.
Fine, I'll hear him out, but this isn't religion. This is something worse, something darker.
Anyway, to the point is we don't want anybody going down there. And
Well,
It's-
you have my assurances. I'll protect that hole. No
Thank
one will go down there. I won't go down there, but you have to promise me that you're going to show it to me at some point.
yes, absolutely. When we return, we'll make sure you get to see it. As well as, and this might interest you further, there's a dwarven city down there.
This is a what now? A dwarven city?
Goes by the name of Mogfarain. Queen Imelda. It was ruled by her till they made a pact with the demon.
I've never heard of this place.
Quizquaz. Is that a name you know? Quizquaz? You ever heard?
Quizquaz.
Ever the skeptic
No,
just
I've
yelling
never
out.
heard of a name like that. What kind of a name is that?
Anyway, Shanti, we will be sure to show you as soon as we get back, but I just needed to make sure that you had the key and that you knew to make sure somebody's posted and preventing anybody from going down there.
Consider it done.
All right, next bit of business. Nash, why are you bursting into flames?
Yes, are you all right, Nash?
I saw stuff. I saw things. I don't know how to make sense of it just yet, so I don't think I can explain it to you. I definitely am not explaining it to this elf who thinks there's a heaven in the sky. But I'm going to work it out. I'll figure it out. There's some bad stuff. Most of it has to do with where I came from. So you may not even care.
Is this going to be a recurring problem?
Not the fire part. Basically, I have magic PTSD. PSD would be Photoshop document. I got that wrong. So I forgot the other part. PTSD, it's basically seeing things from my days at the solar mine that I thought I'd never see again. It could just be in my head, though. Whatever magic was used to set me aflame, I can't explain it.
Well, as long as you're okay, I guess, but it's certainly a concern.
I'll make you a deal. If I feel the feelings I had before the flames came, I'll run to a place where nobody is. Deal?
Maybe buy yourself a healing potion.
Oh, all right.
Vorel. It's bet. Also, wait. By the way, I think the well's working,
Oh, yeah.
Nash.
Well, of course, we fixed it when we were down there.
You didn't tell me I had to come back and tell you. You just said go check.
Well, did you think I was gonna just absorb this information through osmosis?
Oh, sure. A little bit of information, like go check the well, but nobody gives me any details about who to talk to. Next time you say come back, you didn't tell me to come back.
I'll try to be incredibly specific next time. By the way, I got stabbed
Yes,
going to
Stanley!
check on your
You
mistake.
did, but we didn't hear anything about it until you were on stage. Are you all right?
I'm feeling okay today, but it hurt.
I bet it did.
And I'm feeling a little sad that my associate Nash would put me in such a position.
All
But it is fine.
right, you two, quit fighting over who didn't do what and who got hurt. I want to hear what you're gonna do about the goblins.
Well, the goblin's a new thing to me as well. Where did we get a goblin?
There's people
real.
while we're talking here. There's people getting kidnapped, getting stabbed or whatever. So let's
Well-
hurry it up, maybe. Yeah.
This
We've-
can all be done on the road. By the way, I figured we would jump inside Hope's vehicle and talk there. But we have additionals who are staying, and what's the plan, Stanley?
What's the
Well,
plan,
we should
Stan?
definitely set out. Is your goblin friend going to lead us there? What? I'm just shocked by the appearance of a goblin.
Yes, this goblin put 2 stones into my head. And
His name is Bok Bok.
Bok, Bok, Bok. This is Bok, Bok, everyone. He thinks I am a god. But besides that, you all were getting all excited about, oh, there's no live goblins. Forel didn't leave any goblins alive when he attacked them. Well, here I am, standing here today with a live, unkilled, self-controlled goblin. And now you may do with asking me, what do you want to do with him?
I would like to have him lead us to where they took our people.
Excellent. Then we can hop in the car. Everyone reassured me today was going to be normal. Today was going to be simple.
Well, I was hoping so too, but I got shot at and stabbed, and it's been a day. Let's get on our way. Shanti, is there anything you need from us before we head out?
No, I'm ready. When you are to see you off, I guess. I'm not part of this, really. I just came to hear what's under the town. So if that'll be all, I'll leave Jimster here to tell you the rest of what you need to know before you go. But-
Shanti, I've got a quick question. This wrench,
All
and
right.
I'll pull out the wrench. It speaks in Dwarven to me, and I don't know what it says. And I'll ask it a question.
What?
Do I hear any words from it?
Okay, so you take take it into your hand and you ask it a question, and you don't hear a response.
Oh. So I'll go to one of the cages.
Are you sure you're feeling all right?
I am. It changes. Watch, and I'll change the wrench to the size of one of the nuts on one of the storage things in the garage, and then
Ooh.
and then I'll go and I'll try to unscrew a nut. Does the wrench get angry again?
The wrench begins as you go to unscrew. And what are you taking apart, like the car, or just?
No, so there are storage units in the garage. I would
Okay.
imagine some of them are kind of crudely put together and have nuts holding the
Okay.
screws together. So I'm just going
You hear,
for.
nay, Enderura, barabura, bida, bunga, 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 whatever.
And I'll try to repeat this back to
Okay.
Shanti.
All right. And Shanti says, "Oh, that's a real old dialect of Dwarven. I think it means stop breaking things. Yeah, slag.
What if I need to take things apart to repair things? What's Dwarven for repair?
Riklakro.
Rekleklu. All right,
Yeah,
and
something
I'll,
like
I'll scream it at the wrench as I start fiddling around with the.
So you say Riklakro to to the voice out loud. Everyone's looking at you like you're crazy, by the way. And then you just hear more dwarven.
I'll repeat as best as I can back to Shanti.
Says, it's giving you shit for taking things apart. It sounds like it wants you to fix things.
But, okay, so what if I need to take something apart in order to fix it?
I mean, I don't know. It's your voice in your head. I don't.
Fair enough. I'll pocket the wrench and I'll go, thank you, Shanti. And to the elves.
Wow. I want to go down to this place now. Maybe that was a tool for me down there.
There might be. There was some really cool stuff.
We did clean it out pretty good.
Yeah, but I'm a dwarf. I'll find things you humans couldn't find.
Well, there were skeletons, giant spiders, and a demon, so you may also want to be very careful.
All right, we'll see. You'll have to tell me all about it and come down there with me again. You can
now,
do that.
I want to say, and Morel, I understand you're very anxious to get out on the road, and I appreciate your anxiousness, but let us learn from past mistakes. Should we get some rations or things before we set out on this adventure? I vaguely remember a problem involving rations and supplies before.
That's a good call. And since there's a lot less people alive in the town, I think we can fill up the truck here. Hope, do you want to introduce everyone to the truck? I'm going to leave for a quick second and bring back some more food to put in there. It's got a lot of storage for food. So
could I bother you to also grab a healer's kit if there's one available?
A healer's kit?
Uh-huh.
Oh, incidentally, DM note. I know why you want a healer's kit. It's because of the stabilization thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's been confirmed by a wonderful listener that that's not a thing, actually. You can stabilize with that healer's kit. A healer's kit means you don't have to make a throw. And no, I don't know what no healer kit look like. You might want to talk to Boxto down at the trading post. Maybe he's got one. They don't really have any healers here. But all right. I'll go bring food back for you. All right.
Oh, and Gypsy, could you bring a rope? I'm down a rope.
Oh, you know where they are, girl. Just go get yourself a rope by the.
Thanks,
Jeez,
Jim.
What's wrong with you? All right. And he takes off for a brief moment. Now, Hope. So Kristen has put a lot of work. Do you want to do the big reveal now?
The fate.
Close to time, and we should.
And I'll rip the tarp off of the RV.
Okay, and so Hope rips the top off, and you see an RV with giant monster truck wheels, and it's got this metal dragon skull. It's a dragon, but it's not an actual dragon on the front. I'm gonna leave it Hope for you to describe to the rest of the party. Kristen put a lot of work on this week, so.
Do we have the pictures? Does everyone have the?
I'm gonna upload something to the Slack for everyone to look at in just 2 seconds.
Okay.
It's there.
So it's big RV. It's on huge monster wheels. You can see along the outside there's a metal railing that can be held onto and kind of scurried around the outside should there need to be outdoor on-the-car combat.
Oh, look at this.
It's awesome.
This is great.
So good.
Hold on, chat. See if I can show it to you. Yeah, I can.
We've got solar panels on the top.
All right, let's bring this up over here.
So while you get that open, then I'll go through some of the details so that everyone's there. But we have a rules sheet for Fate 4, since this is you guys might be calling this home for the next little while, and certainly it is Hope's, baby.
This is what I was gonna leave on.
Yeah, and she's been working on this for the entire time that she's been here in Dust Hill with Jimster. And while the rule sheet contains a bunch of rules about how we travel using it, it has you can see on the second page a picture, and it's got a driver's seat but no shotgun seat where a bunch of weapons are kept. It's got a skull-shaped gear shift that can be pulled out and used as a stabbing spike. It's got the glove compartment, as they all do, filled with guns and ammunition. There's roof access so people can jump onto the roof. It has a hang bar on the roof so you can attack things from the roof, and it's got a hang bar on the side of the car so someone can hang along the side on the outside. There's a CB radio in the front and in the back so people from the front and the back can use the CB radio to talk to each other, trucker style. There's a large wall magnet on the inside where, javelins and things like that can be kept for easy access to throw or put things out. It has a large water storage, a 30-gallon water tank, and so it can store water for up to 28 days. Lots of space for weapons, tools, and scraps. You can keep up to about a month of food in there, which Jimster is going to take care of replenishing for you before you head out. It's got place for 4 people to sleep, like a sofa bed that changes into a bed, and then there's actual mattresses that can be pulled out and laid across the floor. There's a hot plate that you guys can use to cook your food.
It looks like there's a shitter. Is there a shitter?
There's a shitter in there.
Oh, it's amazing.
Shitter.
That's amazing. I love it.
It's got a shitter. I think that about covers like all the salient physical details. Has a little ladder on the back.
It's great. I love it.
And it's called the Fate 4.
I freaking love it.
All right,
look at this interior shots. Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's really great.
So Jimster makes his way back as Hope goes through. She's almost like a car salesman, all the details of the car, pointing it out enthusiastically, and you guys are all listening. And he brings back a few other people who are carrying food, and they start filling up, the truck with potatoes, chew worms, meats. They're filling the water tank, and Jimster goes to collect fuel. He's got, there's about 500 or 600 gallons worth of fuel. So you're taking about half of the fuel reserves to go out there with you. And Jimster just reminds you that, listen, if you find and kill those goblins, you need to bring back their fuel because we have a limited supply and we need that here. Okay? So don't go wasting any.
We won't, Jimster.
And he says, have you guys given any consideration to how you're going to do this thing? Like, what's the plan? Like, you're gonna kill all 100 or 200 goblins? How are you rescuing everybody?
Well, so you pull out the map, Kristen. We're looking at the map. Explain it to us.
So what we can surmise, if you see about southeast, down in the corner right before crossing the mountains is Slave Town. That's our best guess as to where they are. At least when Stanley told me about it.
I confirmed that direction last night in my scouting, before I found Bok here.
Bok, and I'll do. Can you pick him up? Does he need a little stool to? Since we're on a workbench.
Yeah, I'll put him on the workbench, still holding on to his shoulder and cloths.
And I'll point to Slave Town. Is this it?
He looks at Varel.
And then Goblin, where you're from?
He tells you he doesn't understand this piece of paper.
Maps have no meaning to him.
Oh.
Well, that's all right. Maybe we can use a little of both. The map as a general guideline and Bok's directions as we go.
Now, the elf is still here, Zaranthalus, and he looks and he says, this is what I was hoping to help you with. Perhaps you'd like to ask me for my advice?
Yes, please. Anything would be helpful.
So it's been about 24 hours since the goblins have left, and assuredly they are driving, but they're probably somewhat arrogant. That puts them at about maybe driving 40 to 60 miles an hour for 10 to 12 hours maybe. So you're going to have to drive for longer, but over time you should be able to capture them. Now, on this map that you have here, it's a wonderful map, by the way. Each hex appears to be 120 miles of travel. So that would take about 3 hours. So if they're 1 day out, and let's say they've driven 12 hours, they're probably 3 hexes away here from Dust Hill. So if you make good time, do nothing but driving, I think you should catch up to them, or at least catch a glimpse of them. Vorel, did you see them when you went to go look around outside?
Yes, I saw the clouds of their wheels heading to the southeast.
Yeah, so I don't recommend that you head to Slave Town in this map because I have no doubt goblins are shit navigators. Probably you need to follow the trail and see where they end up. Because you're making a big... I don't trust goblins to know what the truth is. They're very stupid. And also, they may not be heading... They may keep the slaves for themselves. If I know goblins, they'll probably eat the slaves before they get to Slave Town.
If this goblin's no good to us, kill it now. We don't need the extra weight. We need the food. We don't need this little shit.
For now, I think maybe we could potentially hold on to him. I don't know about just killing him yet, but do you think you would be able to scout ahead for us? Do you have vehicles, or will you be relying on riding with us?
Scoutmasters don't use vehicles. Will be of limited use so far out, so it's really just to give you guys some guidance on the plan. From the sounds of it, it doesn't look like there's room for more than 4 in the truck to sleep anyways.
Very well. I do appreciate your assistance with this. In addition, Zoranthalus, I was wondering if you might be willing to hold on to something for me until I return.
What's that?
While we were down below in Mogue Forain, we encountered a machine of some kind. It's the machine that told me about the what was it? The Elhan and the Elhandar. And it told me that it was of critical importance that this, and I take out the data core, get to Elhandar. I don't exactly know what it is, and I know that you don't have a method of getting there yet, but on the off chance we don't come back, I figure that's where you're trying to get, and it sounds like this getting there is pretty important.
He looks at it and says, "What is it? I've never seen something like this before." You saying a machine gave this to you?
It said that it was a data core that contained vital information to save the planet. Seemed very grandiose to me, but if you're gonna go there anyway, you might as well take it with you. I'll be back to relieve you of it if it comes to it.
I see that your elfin side has taken over your senses in this regard, because yes, you should give it to a full elf. You're probably not going to return to the sky. I don't know how to get there yet, but my hands are safer than yours. It's true.
Can I give this thing a look as it's handed over to see if I can make heads or tails of it?
Yeah, you catch a glimpse of it. It's basically a spherical, looks brass, ball, and it has grooves in it. Like nonsensical kind of fractal grooves etched all over it. Looks like a ball bearing as far as you can tell.
Gotcha.
Can I want to ask the elf a question. Can I do that?
You may.
All right. What do you I'm not saying I believe in your mumbo jumbo. Okay. So don't take this as some sort of, tacit agreement with what you people are up to, but
very well.
What do you know about the solar mines?
Solar mines. I've heard of a place called the Solar Mines. I've never been there.
I don't like the way you paused. Is there something, anything you can tell me about, I don't know, magic from there? Can they see where we are? Can they follow us? Can they possess us? Can they find us?
I mean, I know very little about the solar mines. I just know that there is a place where they harness the power of the sun and use it for dark purposes. But this is only amongst my people, those that I've spoken with. I've heard tell of it, but I don't know much in the way of details about it.
All right. I'll take
And one more question.
Mm-hmm.
The dragon engine legend. What's yours? We tieflings, we talk about it all the time, and we have our own. But what's the elven legend behind that?
Morel goes and stomps over and sits on the edge of the car. But
the elves know what's happened. We are cast down to the earth, and when we return, we will find out what our place is to be in the grand fight to save this world. My understanding is that the humanity, before the earth was destroyed, made a pact with demons to defeat the attack of the dragons, and they used the dragons in their machinery. And in one last attempt to destroy the world, the dragons scorch the earth. And it is irreparable. This world is dying. But the elves are tasked with finding a way to save it. And I believe the only way we can save it is with the dragon engines, at least according to legend. We must collect them and deliver them to Elhandar. But I know little else. I'm sure all will be clear when I return.
Everything. Thank you.
All things
All right,
will be clear.
good news, Varel. I think we're ready to go.
Ah, excellent. They're heading out there every day. I'm used to traveling alone. You just move your feet in the direction you want to go, and there's no trouble.
And you hear as you're explaining and talking here behind you.
Uh-huh.
And what do you say?
And it's Bok and he's asking, do I get to go? Do I have to stay here? Do I get to go? Do I have to stay here? Excitedly and repeatedly.
We all get to go. We're all going.
Are we sure we didn't pick up a chimp?
And he asks you another question. He goes, and he's asking you if he can eat the purple lady now.
Still no.
He makes his case. He's been good, and can he eat the purple lady now?
Still no. And I'm afraid that answer will not be changing unless she dies.
And then he asks one more question. He's like, and he says, Lizard God, do you know what purple tastes like?
Do I?
I don't know, Varel. It's your history.
I've eaten for some odd meats. I think I've eaten many colors of meats, each as delicious as the last, I tell him.
All the meats.
Every meat.
And then, so the goblin says, and he says, you are truly great, Lizard God.
And I swell with pride.
Well, now you're the one holding us up, Varel. Will you grab your little goblin friend and let's get going?
Yes! Into the jalopy.
All right.
Jalopy! I love that.
You know what that word is, lizard man?
Into the jalopy. I haven't heard that
All
since
right,
my
so,
dad in the 80s. That's great.
Before you go, Jimster approaches you, Hope, and gives you a few items. Says, I think you're going to need these. Please also, make sure to take these. And he gives you a compass and a pair of binoculars.
Oh, that's useful.
And I want you to bring those back to me now. Remember, we're expecting you back here. Don't you go taking off.
I won't, Jim. I'll say I will be back, okay? And I'll hug him real tight. And thank you, Jim, for everything.
The Fate 4 is now filled with potatoes, chew worms, smoked meats, pickled beets, and enough fuel to fill up the reserve gas tank in addition to the gas tank. Now, on the rule sheet are the mechanics about how travel works. And you are basically ready to go if you wanted to head out and leave. But Zaranthalus stops you one last time for one more question. He's like, we never decide. You didn't tell me how you were going to approach this. And I just wanted to recommend to you that I believe a nighttime assault is the best way to go about doing this. There's no way that four of you are going to take on hundreds of goblins. So give that some consideration to your strategy, because I too want you to return.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will we'll definitely keep that in mind.
And that is all. Best of luck to you. Till all are one in Elhandar.
I'll say that back.
And I'll
All
go, yeah, whatever. Goodbye. Go.
Okay, so you guys get ready to go. Do you have any songs to play, or is there a radio in there with some tunes? Are we doing a?
I wouldn't even know. I mean, in this world, I would imagine you just come up with your own songs.
All right, so Jimster's out there and he's lifting the chain, and it opens up the exterior panel, and you see nothing but sand and horizon. And everyone hops into the truck. You turn the engine on. You just fire out of there, and as quick as you know it, Dust Hill becomes a dot behind you, and you can barely see through the sand. And you're on the road. The adventurers are on the road. So let's talk about travel. I assume you're heading southeast.
Yeah, heading towards
The
Slaverton.
direction, the lizardman saw.
So your vehicle moves at 60 miles per hour tops, which means that you can cover the distance of a hex at your top speed in 2 hours. Now, it's important to note that it runs on a 30-gallon tank, so about 20 miles will chew up a gallon. All right, and we want to talk a little bit about overheating because you are trying to get somewhere. You can drive over 60 miles an hour and really push it like up to 80, but you'll have to roll an overheating save every hour, which will so each consecutive hour could cause overheating, which means you'll have to stop driving for 2d10 12 hours of downtime. Okay, and it'll have to be at least 6 hours. That's also. Did I just burp?
Yeah, you
Like,
did. You did.
I couldn't hold it in; it just came out. And the other thing is, if you drive the vehicle for more than 16 hours, every hour you'll have to roll an overheating save as well, or potentially kill it.
Okay.
For a little bit. All right. So that's pretty much it. So tell me, you have the map open. You can sort of tell me which hexes you want to drive down.
Oh gosh.
Well, we've got the compass, so I'll have the compass on the dash by me, and I'll ask Varel. I'll just keep it pointed southeast.
Okay, and how long do you want to drive for? It's still morning, so you still got 12 hours of daylight.
Is there any advantage to us stopping in Blot or any other stuff on the way? I mean, it's more south and less southeast, but it could yield something. I don't know. I guess my question is, from the DM's perspective, any benefits to us stopping at
You can go anywhere you want. Technically, I won't stop you.
Okay.
The issue is that the goblins are there's a time consideration. You know, you were given the estimate about 7 to 10 days by the elf if they were heading to Slave Town for them to get there.
Yeah.
So any detours could potentially put more distance between you and the goblins.
He also did say that there's a chance they're using the slaves as food in the trip, which means every time we delay, potentially someone else is going to die.
No, there's very little chance. This one is quite hungry.
Can we check with Bok Bok and see if his people typically travel during the day or if they travel during the night?
Yeah, I'll do that. And turn to Bok. Bok Bok! Like I'm going to talk to a dog, all stoked up. I have a question for you.
Question.
Do you travel at day or nighttime? Night.
Goblin travel day. We travel day.
Day.
Party night.
Day.
Party night.
Party all
Rockin'
parties all night.
Goblin party. Best party.
Goblin party, best party. I convey.
Well,
All
that's
right.
good. That's useful information. Convey our appreciation to Bok Bok, I guess.
Become friends, Stanley. Surely you've some worms, or you could hand them yourself.
I don't have any worms.
The
There's worms in
storage
the truck.
bins.
You're all in a truck that has lots of chew worms in it.
All right, I go get a chew worm and I toss it at Bok Bok.
How big are these chew worms? Are they like gummy worm size looking things?
Yeah, they're thick and big.
Oh, that's bigger than I thought then. Like hot dog size?
Yeah,
Okay.
hot dog size.
All right.
But they look kind of like earthworms.
All right.
No, I mostly throw it at him, not so much to him. There's not a lot of preparation to the throw. It's not like, here it comes, get ready. It's more of I grab a chew worm and fling it at him.
Yeah. And he nimbly,
Should do a dexterity check on that.
yeah, he nimbly catches it in a tooth and it hooks around like that. He hooks it in, and he goes, "Bok bok!"
I give him a thumbs up.
He yells his name after. That's fine, I guess. He's like Timmy, the Timmy of our world. It's great.
This is useful information, though. It does tell us that we will be able to make progress on them at night, which is good because that's the time we're going to want to try to infiltrate. And but it does mean that we're going to have to make up time during the day. We're going to have to definitely push it until we start getting an idea that we're close.
Okay, so are we traveling 16 hours at 60 miles per hour, or is there any variance to that?
Stanley's more of a words person, so I'm going to need somebody better with numbers to take over this particular task.
Don't look at me, says Nash.
We'll keep on driving at 60 miles per hour for that 16 hours. At dusk, I'll call Varela to give a look and see if he can see anything, any dust, any tracks.
Sure. Yeah. So you're gonna do periodic scouting just to make sure you're still on the right trail. Okay. So 16 hours goes by in a vehicle. Now,
Oh my God.
that's a long period of time. It's now nighttime, and you've been sitting in a vehicle. You've made periodic stops to go to the bathroom, especially Bok Bok and turbo shits.
They could just go in the bathroom on the.
He doesn't like the toilet. He's been
flush
refusing
is
to use a toilet. And Varel, for that matter, not a toilet guy.
Yeah.
So but it's good that it's on there. But I don't see that a 7-foot tall lizard using the toilet unless you want to. I just no.
Where's he
That's
gonna
not
put the
you.
tail? Yeah, I think it's trouble. I don't think you're gonna get him in there.
Yeah.
Now, I think Nash needs it more than me, but during this travel time, I probably would have tried to get in a long rest, seeing as somebody decided to burst into fire and waste one of my spell slots.
So if someone's not, this is a good thing. We'll just sort of skip over it for this first day, but everyone except the driver and anyone who's scouting, if you're keeping an active scout, can rest. So 2 people can take their long rest, for example, and then you can switch. Someone else can drive and someone else can be lookout or whatever. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, you guys can take turns resting. We'll say, I don't know, we'll say now, for now, hope you're not giving up the wheel to anybody. So you've been driving the whole time. Yeah, so at the tail end of 16 hours, it's now nighttime. You bring the vehicle to a close. You can feel you're pushing the engine. As you turn it off and hit the brakes to go to 0, you hear that, that ticking you hear from hot vehicles, like that, and there's sand everywhere. Everyone steps out stiff, stretching like you've been in a car for 16 hours. It's horrifying. It's a comfortable vehicle, but still. And yeah, it's nighttime out. There are no lights. I assume there's no headlights on being turned on. Desert travel being what it is, the sound carries very far, and lights carry very far at night. So yeah, you pull over, and it's time to set up camp, I suppose. I don't know if there's anything you guys want to do before taking a sleep or not, or if you want to push driving even further.
I will exit the vehicle. Good night, all. We are resting, yes. You don't intend for me to sleep in the sheen.
Well,
You
I think
can sleep
that
wherever you want.
that is something we're going to have to decide. We definitely at some point we're going to need to push it. Maybe we have with this much driving. I think we could all use a rest.
You've moved 4 hexes southeast on the map, basically, after 16 hours.
These are little teeny hexes.
Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hexes
6, 7.
for 16 hours of driving. Mm-hmm.
So we are.
You don't know your exact position on the map, but you're about 8 hexes.
When I
south.
get out, I'll check under. Well, I'll let the engine cool down, and I'll check under and just do a general walk around. And I'll do this each time we
Vehicle
do a
repair
big stop.
checks.
Yeah,
Vehicle
or roll
repair
that.
check. Yep.
We should probably get up top and see if there's anything at all that we can see.
So a 12.
Okay. You don't detect any problems. Everything's good. Your first day on its maiden voyage of the Fate 4 has been successful.
It was that
Sorry,
successful. There was music. I'm gonna climb up on the roof and see if I can perceive anything around us. Do a perception check.
Okay. Roll a perception. Vision.
18.
Okay. You take a look at the horizon in a 360-degree direction from on top, and you see nothing. I mean, you can really only see clearly about 120 feet in front of you in the darkness, but you don't detect anything on the horizon or around you. Yeah. And I don't know if anyone's going to look for goblin tracks or trails or anything like that.
Totally. As I exit the vehicle, I'll let go of Bok Bok, and I'll even say to him, "Goblin, there's nowhere you could go." And so I let go of his scruff for the first time, really, since we've been together, and not inside an enclosed thing.
And he stays near you, limping around.
A 13 on survival to find some car tracks, sir.
Okay, so with Buck Buck's aid, roll with advantage. He's going to help you search.
That's so helpful.
Cool. Still a 13.
Okay, well, he does his best to help. And you guys sort of sniff the ground and look, and you definitely find evidence of tracks. So you find the evidence of tire tracks that you recognize are pretty fresh. Generally, the desert the wind will cover up tracks and leave it there. So you have a look at the tracks, and your estimate on them is probably they're made a day ago, and that you're about maybe half a day's ride from the goblin raiding party that you're looking for, and they've continued on in a somewhat southeasterly direction. You can actually see, and this is visually apparent as you guys are driving through various parts. You do see the evidence of tire tracks in the sand, so you know where you're going by virtue of following these landmarks and checking for them throughout your journey so far.
So as I wander around in the darkness, I'll yell back, "We're on track! It seems 3 days will catch up."
Okay.
All
Everyone
right.
takes that in. So basically what you have here is you have 6 hours to rest, and then you can continue traveling. The vehicle itself needs to rest for 6 hours before it can continue again.
Let's set up camp.
All right. So who's taking which watch order, please?
I rested in the car, so I'll go ahead and take first watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take second because I arrested also.
Okay.
I'll take 4th.
Okay, and then it's perfect. Okay, so
Yeah, she's been driving all night.
Yeah.
He's like my wife. She won't let me drive.
Just a trucker.
Okay.
We're going straight through.
So throughout the evening, each of your watches pass without event, and the morning eventually returns. You can now plot a course for your next day of travel.
I say we keep following the tracks. So I'm stretching and getting ready to.
I shimmy up out of my sand. What'd Bok Bok do while I slept?
Buck Buck's sleeping next to a tire, using the tire as a pillow.
Oh,
He's asleep. He's a sleeper inner.
that's endearing. Bok Bok, wait.
And he wakes and he comes to attention. He says, "Oh, and he says, Goblin hungry, Bok Bok hungry, Bok Bok hungry."
Maybe Stanley has more worms, yes.
And he says,
Stanley!
Whoa, he's
Stanley. And
he's
the
starting to
goblin-
learn words.
Stanley!
The goblin comes up
gotta
to you and
hear
he's
this.
pulling on your sleeves, going, "Stanley, Stanley, Stanley." He's pointing to where he
All
goes.
right. I just woke up. Calm yourself. I make my way in and I grab. How many worms does this guy eat?
I mean, you could probably give him a handful. You know, like it's like Klingon food, basically.
All right. I reach in, grab a generous handful, and hand it to him.
All right. Okay, and he takes it. He's like, ah, ah, ah. He doesn't have a bowl or anything. He just has his hand as a bowl, and he just seems to really have grown to like the chew worms.
As soon as he finishes, press the digitation to clean him up.
And he, so after he finishes, he's like, licking his lips, and then he's licking his fingers and cleaning it. And then you press the digitation him, and he goes, ah! And he just looks at you with wide eyes, ah! And he runs away.
Runs away. He doesn't leave though.
To Vorel, like he's hiding
okay.
behind
All
Vorel.
right. Scared me for a minute.
Just running out in the desert forever, like Ugly Peter or whatever his name was.
Ugly Pete.
Booking it forever.
Would have been great. I would have loved if we just, like, as we're driving, he's just alongside the van.
Yeah, poor Ugly Pete.
All right. So as you clamber into the vehicle to begin another day, I assume this happens while you're driving. There's no need to.
Oh, yeah,
Were we
yeah.
driving the whole time?
Well, let's do that. Yeah. So you continue driving down the same direction, and about 2 hours into the drive, everyone make a passive perception check.
Passive perception?
A roll of perception.
Okay. I was like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I know. My bad.
14.
Okay.
16.
11.
Okay, so Vorel and Nash, as you're driving, you're looking at the window. It's the most interesting thing to look at, even though it's just desert. It's not much to do in here. And both of you look out, and then look at each other, and look back out again.
Okay.
And you can see the silhouette in the distance of a man running.
It's Ugly Pete.
and as you look out, you see arms waving like this. It's hard to make out the details, but you definitely see a silhouette with the sun shining behind it of a man running, trying to flag down the vehicle.
And he's behind us or in front of us?
He's to the right.
To the right.
To the east of you.
Okay, so he's sort of running in parallel.
Yeah. Well, he's running towards you perpendicular, like. But
You on a road?
there's no roads.
I look at Vorel and I look back and I look at Vorel and I look back again and I say, I think he's trying to flag us down. We should probably stop.
He may have information. He may be an escaped slave.
Well, even if he is, what's the worst that can happen? We kill him and loot him if it gets bad. There's more of us than him. It's one guy.
Very well. Hope,
Yeah?
there's a man outside.
Oh, and I'll hit my brakes immediately. Not to throw everyone forward, but
Okay. So you veer from your course a little bit to go and meet him, and as you get closer, you hear, "Hey! Hey! Hey!" And then
Fat Albert, we say. No.
you pull up near him, and you see what you start to see is that he's got like a brown just robe, and he's naked underneath completely. So
Great.
and he's a very skinny, very old man. He's got a bald head. He's got curly, long, matted hair and a beard. His eyes are like wide, but it's like a flat kind of head. And he's going, "Hey, hey!" And he's like completely naked. His cape, his canvas thing billowing in the wind. "Hey, stop! Hey, hey!"
hey, we stopped.
Yeah,
What do
the
you
car
need?
stopped. And I lean over to Stanley. We could really
I've opened my window.
We could use prestidigitation right about now, if you know what I'm saying.
All right. So as he runs up and you stop, and he trips on his feet and falls face first into the ground. Poof! And then he gets back up, and now he's covered in sand on his front, but you can still make out too many details. And
Out comes the prestidigitation cloud.
We've all seen these things before. There's no need for that.
water.
Yeah, put the cloud on his crotch.
Wait. Someone get some water.
Hold on, we don't know who this is. Why are we giving we have precious little water. Why are we giving it to this guy? We need to, who is he? Who are you?
I'll give him part of my water.
Water.
I'll run back and I'll fill up a thing of water and I'll open up my door, get down and give it to him.
And he snatches it from your hand, and he goes.
This is why you don't have.
And I'll pull it
real
away.
water.
No, it was just a cup of water. I filled it up with my liter. It wasn't the whole.
Just drained your skin. All right,
And
start
then he just
talking.
plops himself in the dirt.
Who are you?
Food.
Ah, shit.
Food.
Stanley,
Food.
worms. Give him a worm.
I'm going back to the van.
Food.
I'll go get some worms for him.
Okay.
Stanley's inside laying on the couch now.
So you feed him the worms, he snatches them violently from him. He's just eating and not saying anything. And just staring off into the distance. And
All right, you've had water.
He's got the cloud over his genitals, but he's naked.
You've had water. You've had food. Now tell us who you are. What is this? We don't have time for this. Who are you?
Who am I? Who am I? Who am I?
That's what we're asking.
I'll lean out the car and grab Bok and say, "Does this look familiar?"
You see one of these?
He looks at Bok, and he doesn't pay Bok any mind, and he just looks at, save me, the lights, and then he gets up and brushes himself off and tries to brush away the cloud, the precipitation, but doesn't. And he's sort of violently now hitting his crotch, trying to get the. He just can't do it. This goes on for a minute, and then he walks straight to the door on the side of the Fate 4 and opens it up and lets himself in.
Holy shit!
I'll give him a warding leg. Whoa!
Yeah.
He pays it no mind, and he goes in and he starts looking into all the shelves.
Okay. And I pick him up over my shoulder and start trying to pull him out. And if he's gonna hold on to stuff like a toddler, I'll drag.
All right, strength check, please.
Yeah. Good.
Well, this is.
Okay, you grab him and pick him up by the shoulder and bring him outside. And the whole time he's like trying to hold on to things. He's like, ah! Like this is like the least dignified human being you've ever seen. He's like, and I don't know. Do you do anything with him once you're on the outside?
I mean, I'll give about 15 feet from the car, and then I'll not violently, but plop him down, and be like, "Blot, are you from Blot?"
Lights, they're coming.
Stanley,
See?
Stanley, who has not moved from the couch, even when the guy burst in, leans over, takes out his megaphone, aims it at the open door, and goes, "This is a distraction. Leave him and let's go."
Throw up my arms and head back to the car and leave him on the ground there.
No, don't leave me!
No, it's all right.
He walks back to the door again and tries to open it up. And he goes back inside. And I
What's
don't
your
know if
name?
Name. What is my name?
Name.
And he tries to go into the camper again.
Well, also, can I search him? Does he look like he has any weapons or anything on
He
him?
has a canvas cloth with big sleeves and a hood.
And then
other
one
completely
weapon.
naked.
Yeah, one
Cool.
weapon.
So let him in. We'll get to driving again.
Oh, we're taking him with us?
Oh, it's awful full back
Through
here.
through the megaphone. We fit 4 people and 1 Bok. There is no room at the inn.
You have to save me from the lights.
What's this light? Tell us what you mean.
I'll move my guns out of the hole in the thing. And I'll be like,
Why don't you just
we can
tie
save
him to
you.
the roof rack, and whatever will be, will be.
Yeah,
I
we
like
we don't have extra pants. He needs to be put somewhere where his wiener is not near me. I don't want to. Nash does not want to be near that guy's wiener.
Well, then he'll sit up front with me. All right? And I'm cleaning out my little gun holder.
We cannot all
in that.
adopt little pet beings.
This is my car, and we have found somebody who needs our help.
Stanley gets up and goes into the restroom and shuts the door.
All right, Nash mumbles something about Hope being too nice, and I say, fine. We just have to keep moving. You're in charge of him, though.
I take full responsibility.
So he walks into the camper, and then he's like looking around through drawers again.
Varel, can you make sure he doesn't eat too much of the food or drink the water?
Yes.
It'll give you something to do during this boring drive where there's nothing in the van to do.
He's already watching a goblin. Poor Varel, he's like the babysitter of this whole thing.
All right, so I'll take since this couch is no longer occupied by Stanley, now in the bathroom, I will go sit on the couch and place Bok to my left, Crazy Man to my right, and I'll let go of Bok's stuff, and now I'll hold on to Crazy Man's.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you let go of Bok says, and the goblin's asking, "Is man dinner? Man dinner? We eat man dinner?"
What did he say?
Man dinner.
Man dinner.
Yes. Tell him, please.
I will convey to him. We're keeping him fresh for later. Fresh.
Okay. All right. You sit the old man down, and then as the old man finally sits down, you see a wave of exhaustion creep over him, and he's out.
Right to my shoulder. Oh,
yeah.
Fantastic.
And his nose is full of crusty boogers, and he starts drooling. And this guy is just a mess of a human being.
A waste of water. This man is leaking.
Get a towel. Put a towel on your shoulder.
And
the butt side of his cloak and kind of wrap it around his neck like a bad airline inflatable.
Okay. So you guys resume the journey as you sort of take during the drive. Hope starts driving, leaving you to your babysitter duties. Stanley's in the bathroom locked, and Nash is like in the opposite end of wherever the penis is.
I want nothing to do with that guy. I don't trust him.
So he's up front. You're up front, like standing in the cab with Hope.
Yeah.
I like that Nash is the most grody human being that ever existed, but he sees one wiener and he's like, "No,
That's it.
it's too much."
Yeah. So you drive again for another 16 hours. Nothing else of a big event happens, and it becomes nighttime again. Old man is still sleeping. Buck's still behaving himself, and yeah, it's time to 16 hours have elapsed, and it's now nighttime again. The vehicle requires rest from overheating. We're now another 8 hexes southeast of Dust Hill.
All right.
All right, Varel. Do you see where they've gone?
I will emerge from the vehicle with Bok's help.
I'll watch the old man.
Got a 22 on survival.
Okay, so you could roll with advantage if you want to try rolling again, but
Already done.
perfect. So you take a look and you scour the area. You do continue to see the tracks that you were pursuing. You also find somewhat covered in sand from a wind that had blown up. You see the corpse of what looks to be someone distinctly dressed like a Dust Hill farmer. You don't know who it was or what it's there, but you see like from his head is still there and his shoulders, but most of his body, his flesh has been flayed from his bones very unceremoniously. So the rest of the corpse is mostly skeleton with pieces of flesh still remaining that no one wanted to eat. And there's, of course, some organs are left lying around. You also find the corpses of 2 dead goblins.
Oh, are you okay? Oh, as I pull out the bottom half.
Did you find something, Varel?
He's dead. He's long gone.
Buck taps you and says, and he's saying, they fight and die. They fight and die.
Blood sport?
They fight to become great and die. Not great. Shit.
Rockin' party.
Party. Goblin party, best party.
Rockin'
Goblin party, best party.
Yes, this was where the rocking party was. Rockin' party. Goblin party, best party. Goblin party, best party. Yes, this was where the rocking party was. Rockin' party. Goblin party, best party. Goblin party, best party.
Party.
This was where the rocking party was. This whole area was rocking.
How
And
come
as you
there's
tell
wa-
as you tell everyone this information, the goblin goes and sniffs the human corpse and buries his face into it and starts chewing on leftovers of the corpse.
Do we know this corpse? It seems odd to have a farmer from Dust Hill this far out. Do we know who this is? Do we know who this is?
One of the slaves.
I'm still with the old man in the RV.
Of course you are, because someone's got to watch that guy with his wiener out.
He's still
Oh, you
sleeping.
gotta watch gotta make sure the wiener
He's
doesn't
still
get up
sleeping.
into any trouble.
No.
I would say, presumably, this is one of the slaves that was taken. They ate him, and this is what's left. I am curious, though. Can we ask Bok Bok if they have some sort of ritual combat? We've seen that before. That's how we got Dust Hill back, was you besting their champion. Obviously, we don't want to fight hundreds of goblins. I wonder if there's a way that we could challenge them for the slaves.
Then I'll turn to Bok Bok. Bok Bok. Rocking fight party. Oh, yeah. For prize?
Request goblin boss tell boss bet. Gamble, rockin' party.
Rockin' party. Gamble. Got it. It seems that this man wished to make some sort of deal with the lead goblin, found himself in blood sport, lost, was eaten. Like what happens.
Bok Bok. Goblin boss, Bok Bok.
Yes, big goblin boss, Bok Bok. As I was saying, Stanley.
Wait.
Do they accept challenges from outsiders or just goblins?
Oh, anyone. Bok Bok, this man want be boss and become.
Bok Bok be boss. Bok Bok make bet. With God can't lose. Can't lose.
Oh,
With lizard God can't lose.
it seems our little friend has an idea of his own. He is requesting, as many of them would probably do in this situation, that we make him Goblin King. We act as his champions, overthrow the tribe, and then do as we will, as it is our tribe.
That's not a bad idea.
It's a good idea, Bok Bok.
Bok Bok Bezos. Bok Bezos. And he's going crazy now. Bok Bezos. Bok Bezos. Bok Bezos. He's rocking right now. He's doing goblin.
If a stealthy approach isn't going to work, I think this would be a legitimate strategy. Bok Bok, I'm going to give you another chew worm when we get back to the RV.
Stanley.
And presumably when we go back, I will do that.
Yeah.
All right, so it's time to camp for the night. Can I get your camp order?
I don't remember.
Stanley continues to be pretty lazy. He'll take first watch. He hasn't been engaging in much of what's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll take
I'll go
second.
fourth again.
Yeah, I'll go second again.
Same order then.
Same
All
order.
right. 1 second. Oop. Okay. So, who's that? Oh, Stanley, your watch passes with that event. And Nash, your watch passes with that event. Pharrell, you're third up, and it's your turn to watch.
All right.
And you don't possess dark vision, but
No.
you have a keen sense of what's around you in the desert. And as you think you see something way off in the distance, you think you see lights. You see first light, and a second light, and a third light. And sort of randomly, one at a time, each of the lights seems to disappear, and then it's two lights, and then it's one light. And you have a tingle of danger.
I will So I'll rouse from my little sand crib, get Bok moving, start heading towards the RV, and throw open the door. And I will whisper, "There's something perhaps coming, something on the horizon."
Okay.
Oh, we got.
And I particularly and point at the crazy man, the naked wiener that we've kept on the ship.
What did you see?
Nope, the rest of you are asleep.
Oh, we're still asleep. Okay.
You can't will yourself awake.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to. You could try rolling. No.
Wait,
no.
who am I
You're not,
Well, then
You're
who's he
talking
talking to? Oh, Bok.
Bok.
I thought. Was it Hope? I thought you were talking to Bok.
Yeah, well, I opened the door and then she's like, "Hello."
I rolled the perception and I got a natural 20. I didn't say that. I was just rolling to see if I would wake up to the noise.
Okay.
But
no,
it's totally
fine.
up to you. If you say none of that, then I absolutely agree.
No, let's
Same.
say that. Then I misunderstood. So Hope. Okay, you're awake.
Okay.
I think he said some stuff to you.
What is it?
I think these are the illuminations that he mentioned.
You lit the lights? Let's go outside.
Yes.
All right. So you guys both go outside. The lights appear to be larger than they were. You get the feeling that they're moving closer to you.
Are
I'll go
they
get the binoculars.
are they single bobbing lights or doubles?
They appear to be floating off the ground and moving up, and swaying. There's these lights out there.
They're
There's two, then there's one, but then there's three.
mm-hmm.
They seem to swirl around.
Can I do would it be like an insight to motorcycles? Motorcycles jump in the dunes.
Okay.
I confirm. 5.
You don't. Your theory isn't proved or disproved that it might be motorcycles, but you don't hear any noise carry over the desert air. It's deathly quiet. As you get up to look at it with the binoculars, you just see a closer view of what you already see of 3 lights blinking in and out of existence and then reappearing again, and they seem to be approaching your direction. And you're startled as you hear a loud voice yell, "Lights!" And then out, the old man runs completely naked, his clothing having fallen off, run out into the desert, nighttime, away from the lights. He's going, "Ah!" And we'll leave it there tonight.
Oh no!
All right. Now, that guy, he's making life hard for us, the little old man. Not
Well,
boy.
he's gone now, Scott. You can be amongst the people again.
Okay, good.
Stanley finally emerges from the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, finally. Yeah, you're the one that hid from the wiener guy more than me. I just kind of stood off to the side.
I hid from the silliness.
That is now where we'll leave it, folks. Next week we pick it up again and see what happens. I'm very intrigued. Do we know where we are on the map? Is there any value in us sort of pinpointing that? Where are we?
You're about 16 hexes southeast of it.
Of Dust Hill or where?
Of Dust Hill.
Oh, I'm way off then. Let me put it right here.
Parallel with the Shadnock Plains.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, we have a podcaster for someone over there.
Oh, good. Thank goodness. Finally, it's happening. Next week, we pick it up where we left off, and we find out what happens to our intrepid weirdos. On the next, There Will Be Dungeons at therewillbedungeons.com. Go check it out, everybody, and we'll see you then. And see. Oh, I forgot the. Hold on.
You've
This
been
show
listening
is
to
part of the Frog
Network.
Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this.
Get more shows
at
like this.
frogpants.com.
.com.
There you go. Did it. Done it.